People run from competition. They see it as conflict. They see it as a threat, but they've got it all wrong. Competition is not the enemy. It is the mirror. It reflects your weaknesses, your laziness, your comfort zones, and dares you to destroy them. Because the truth is, without competition, you don't grow. You don't evolve. You stay soft. You stay stagnant. And you die slowly, quietly, without ever realizing your true potential. You see someone better than you, faster than you, stronger than you? Good. That's your wake-up call. That's not someone to fear, that's someone to thank. Because their presence is fuel. That rival, that opponent, that person outperforming you, they are forcing you to level up. Without them, you stay average. With them, you're pushed to become elite. Look at nature. The strongest lion gets to lead the pack. The fastest gazelle escapes the hunt. Competition decides who survives, who thrives, who becomes more than they were yesterday. So why would you run from it? Why would you hide from something that's designed to make you better? The world doesn't reward comfort. It rewards the bold, the ones who rise when someone challenges them, the ones who say, all right, you're better than me today, but not tomorrow, not forever. Because competition doesn't kill dreams. It awakens them. It sets them on fire. Most people want the path with no resistance, but that's not the path to greatness. That's the path to regret. Greatness demands friction. It demands challenge. It demands a rival who won't let you stay still. That's why competition is not a curse. It's a blessing. It shows you where to aim, what to fix, how far you've got to go. And if you take it seriously, if you embrace it, it becomes your edge. And the best part, the real competition is never out there. It's in the mirror. It's between who you were yesterday and who you're willing to become today. That's the ultimate fight. And every day, you get to choose whether you're going to dominate or delay, whether you'll rise or retreat, whether you'll evolve or repeat. So no competition is not your enemy. It's your advantage. It's your pressure point. It's your invitation to grow, accept it, face it, thank it, and then outwork it, outlast it, outgrow it. Because when you compete with power, with purpose, with precision, nothing can stop your evolution. In this world, if you don't rise, you will be replaced. That's not negativity. That's reality. There's someone out there right now who wants what you have. They want your position. They want your progress. They want your peace. And if you're not moving forward, sharpening your skills, staying hungry, they'll take it from you. Not because they hate you, but because that's how competition works. It doesn't care about your comfort. It only rewards your commitment. You think the top spot is guaranteed? You think being good yesterday is enough today? Wake up. This game we're in, this life doesn't pause for your excuses. It doesn't care that you're tired. It doesn't wait for you to feel motivated. While you're thinking about working, someone else is already doing it. While you're negotiating with your weakness, someone else is building strength. That's the edge. That's the mindset you need if you want to rise. The most dangerous thing you can ever do is believe you've arrived, that you've done enough, that you can coast now. Because the moment you do that, someone hungrier is catching up, and soon enough they'll pass you. And you won't even see it coming because you were too busy admiring what you already built instead of reinforcing it. Now listen, competition isn't just about fighting others. It's about fighting complacency. It's about choosing to level up every single day, even when no one's watching, even when no one's clapping, even when it feels like you've already won. Because the moment you stop growing is the moment you start dying. And if you don't evolve, you expire. You've got to treat each day like someone's trying to take everything from you. Not because you're paranoid, but because you're prepared. That pressure, that's not a burden. That's fuel. That's what sharpens the blade. That's what keeps you alert. That's what keeps you alive. Because pressure creates diamonds and exposes the fakes. And here's the hard truth. Nobody owes you a seat at the table. You earn it every single day with your actions, with your effort, with your discipline. You want to stay at the top? Then act like you just got started. Train like you're behind. Hustle like you're unknown. Compete like your life depends on it, because your legacy does. The people who win are not always the most talented, but they're the most relentless. They're the ones who understand that you either rise or you get replaced. So don't play soft. Don't relax just because you made some progress. Stay sharp, stay hungry, stay in the race, because greatness is rented and the rent is due every single day. Competition doesn't just reveal your weaknesses, it ignites your fire. It takes whatever's inside you, fear, ambition, insecurity, desire, and throws it into the furnace. And what comes out of that fire? A version of you that didn't exist before. Stronger, sharper, hungrier. Because only heat reveals the metal. Only pressure creates the edge. When you're truly in the arena, when you got someone chasing you, matching you, pushing you, you don't have the luxury to be lazy. You don't get to sit back. You don't get to coast. Every day is a test. And you either show up with intensity or you get run over by someone who does. That's not fear. That's fuel. Look at any champion. Look at anyone who's at the top of their game. They didn't get there because they ran away from competition. They got there because competition lit a fire inside them that never went out. Every rival they faced, every person who said you're not good enough, every defeat they took, it all became fuel. And they used that fuel to level up, not to give up. The difference between good and great, the great ones crave the challenge. They want someone to chase. They want to feel the heat behind them. Because they know what that heat does. It sharpens their focus, raises their standard, forces their evolution. The great ones don't ask for it to be easier. They demand that they become better. Most people are looking for peace, for ease. But you're different. You're looking for pressure. You're looking for friction. Because you know that comfort never made anyone great. You don't want a straight path. You want hills to climb, rivals to face, resistance to overcome. That's where the gold is. That's where your future self is forged. Think about it. Every time you've grown, really grown, it wasn't during the easy times. It was during the struggle. It was when you felt the pressure to rise. It was when you had something to prove to yourself, to the world, to the voice in your head that said you couldn't. That pressure lit the fire. And that fire, that's your power. So feed the fire. Let the competition sharpen you. Let it force you to study harder, train smarter, execute better. Let it pull the greatness out of you that would have stayed buried if life stayed soft. You don't need easy. You need challenge. You need fire. Because when you compete with purpose, when you push past limits, you don't just grow, you become unstoppable. That fire you feel when someone doubts you, when someone outshines you, that's not anger. That's your edge talking. That's your next level trying to break through. So let it, burn with it, move with it, win with it. You want to grow? Then get ready for pain. Not the kind that breaks you, the kind that builds you. Because competition doesn't just test your skill, it tests your will. He doesn't care how talented you are. It wants to know if you'll still show up when your back is against the wall, when everything hurts, when quitting whispers in your ear, when the only thing pushing you forward is a decision, not motivation, not comfort, just a decision to keep going. That's the pain of progress. It's not glamorous. It's not pretty. It's hard. It's silent. It's invisible to most people. They see the results, but they never see the sacrifice. They see the crown, but never the weight. And that's fine, because you didn't do it for the spotlight. You did it for who you're becoming. Competition introduces you to pain, and that pain introduces you to your power, because pain strips away the lies. It reveals what's real. It forces you to look in the mirror and decide, am I built for this or am I bluffing? Am I committed or am I just pretending? You won't know the answer until the pain shows up. And when it does, you better be ready. When someone's breathing down your neck, when someone else is trying to outwork you, outthink you, out-hustle you, you find out what you're really made of. You find out if you're just motivated or if you're truly disciplined, because motivation fades. But discipline, that's what keeps you standing when everything around you is crumbling. You can't grow without pain. You can't level up without pressure. You can't evolve without being stretched beyond your limits. And competition is the fastest, most ruthless, most effective way to stretch yourself, to demand more from yourself, to raise the bar, not just once, but every day. Every rep you do when you're exhausted, every hour you study when your mind wants to rest, every extra step you take when your body's screaming to stop, that's you embracing the pain. That's you transforming. That's you becoming something most people never will, relentless. Let them talk about you. Let them doubt you. Let them compete against you. Because the more they push, the more you grow. And the more you grow, the more unstoppable you become. Pain doesn't break the chosen, it builds them. It teaches them to keep going when the crowd leaves, to believe when no one else does, to fight, to rise, to transform in silence. So the next time you feel that pain, that burn, that pressure, that doubt, don't run, don't complain, smile, because that means you're on the edge of growth. And if you lean into it, if you embrace it, you'll come out the other side stronger than you've ever been. Competition brings pain, but pain brings power. And that power, that's how you build an empire. You can't win the game if you show up with the wrong mindset. Because competition isn't just physical, it's mental, it's spiritual, it's a war of belief. You don't beat your rivals just by being faster, stronger, or more talented. You beat them when your mind is sharper, when your focus is unshakable, when your belief is louder than their doubt. Most people fear competition because they walk into it already defeated. They see someone ahead of them and think, I'll never catch up. That mindset, that's the reason they stay behind. Because it's not about who's ahead today, it's about who's willing to keep climbing tomorrow. The gap between you and your goals isn't built from skill, it's built from belief. If you want to win, you need to compete from within. You don't need to beat them, you need to beat the voice in your head telling you that you can't. You need to shut down the thoughts that whisper, too slow, too late, too tired, and replace them with, I will, I must, I'm not done yet. Because when your mind commits, your body follows. Understand this. Confidence is not arrogance. It's preparation. It's knowing you've outworked them. It's knowing that while they were posting, you were perfecting. While they were hesitating, you were executing. That's where real confidence is born, in the hidden work. In the hours no one sees, in the sacrifice no one understands. You have to build a mindset that thrives under pressure, that smiles when things get hard, that welcomes challenges, because you know challenges reveal champions. Every time life pushes back, every time a rival steps up, your mindset must say, let's go. Not why me, but try me. That's how winners think. That's how empires are built. Because the battlefield is not out there, it's in your mind. If you think like a victim, you'll live like one. But if you think like a warrior, if you train your mind to dominate, to endure, to believe, no matter what, there is no competition you can't conquer. Not because it's easy, but because you're ready, because you've done the mental reps before the real fight even begins. It starts the moment you wake up. Do you hit snooze or do you rise? Do you complain or do you commit? Do you wish or do you work? These choices, they shape your mindset. They form your identity. And your identity shapes your future. If you think like a champion every day, eventually you become one. So yes, competition is intense. It's relentless. But with the right mindset, it becomes the very thing that unlocks your greatness. Let them doubt you. Let them outnumber you. Let them try to outrun you. If your mindset is right, they won't outlast you, because belief is a weapon. And once you learn to use it, nothing and no one can stop you. Compete with fire. Compete with discipline. But above all, compete with a mind that refuses to break. Pressure, it breaks most people, but not you, because you've learned how to use it. You've learned how to flip it. While others fold under the weight, you perform. Because pressure, when mastered, becomes fuel. It becomes focus. It becomes the edge that pushes you to levels comfort never could. You see, pressure is not a punishment, it's a privilege. It means the moment matters. It means the opportunity is real. And if you feel it, you're exactly where you need to be. That tension in your chest, that fire in your gut, that's not fear. That's your instincts sharpening. That's your body telling you, we're in the arena now. This is where champions are made. Most people try to avoid pressure. They run from the big stage. They hide from the spotlight. But the great ones, they lean in. They smile in the heat. They know the pressure is proof that the moment is big enough to matter, and so are they. They don't hope to survive it. They train to dominate it. That's why you've got to stop seeing pressure as something to fear. It's not there to destroy you. It's there to reveal you. Pressure squeezes out the truth. It shows you what you're really made of. And if you've been putting in the reps, if you've been grinding in silence, if you've been stacking your discipline when no one was watching, then pressure doesn't crush you, it showcases you. Think about it. Every great performance in history happened under pressure. The buzzer, beaters, the final speech, the clutch moment, the last chance. The greats didn't stumble, they stood up, and so will you. Because pressure is not just a test, it's a stage. And when you step onto that stage, everything you've built in private gets revealed in public. But here's the truth, pressure only breaks the unprepared. If you're not doing the work, if you're cutting corners, if you're hoping for luck instead of building skill, then yes, pressure will eat you alive. But if you're ready, if you've been sharpening your mind, strengthening your habits, stacking up your grind, pressure becomes your advantage. Because the moment others freeze, you move. The moment they flinch, you strike. So don't wait for a pressure-free life. That life doesn't exist. Instead, build yourself into someone who doesn't need it to be easy. Build yourself into someone who performs when the stakes are highest. Build yourself into someone who welcomes pressure, because that's where your greatness gets activated. When you understand this, everything changes. You stop playing not to lose, and you start playing to win. You stop hesitating, and you start executing. Because you know pressure doesn't make diamonds. Pressure reveals them. And you've been one all along. You just needed the pressure to shine. Step into the heat, own the weight, and perform like pressure was made for you. It's not enough to be good, not even to be great. Because competition doesn't care what you did yesterday, it wants to know what you're doing today. What you're willing to sacrifice today. The hunger, it can't sleep, it can't pause. The moment you get comfortable, someone out there is getting closer. The second you say, I've done enough, someone hungrier is saying, I'll do more. That's why you need a hunger that never sleeps. This kind of hunger, it's not built on motivation. It's not a burst of energy after a video. It's not something you feel once and forget. This hunger is a lifestyle. It's the mindset that says, I haven't arrived. No matter how far you've come, no matter how much you've earned, no matter how loud they cheer, because when the hunger fades, the grind dies. And when the grind dies, the empire crumbles. You want to stay on top? Then you have to act like you're still at the bottom. Every single day, no entitlement, no ego, just hunger, just discipline, just obsession with growth. That's what separates the ones who rise for a moment and the ones who stay built for a lifetime. And let's be honest, the climb to the top is hard, but staying there, that's a whole different war. When you have something to prove, the fire is automatic. But when you got something to protect, that fire needs to be fed deliberately. You need to manufacture urgency. You need to recreate the underdog in your mind every morning. You need to remind yourself the fight is never over. Not if you want to keep winning. This is why real competitors never get too high on the wins. They respect the victory, but they don't live in it. They use it as fuel to hunt again, to show up sharper, to ask, what's next? Not because they're never satisfied, but because they're built to grow, to evolve, to stretch their limits again and again. You don't eat once and stay full forever. You don't train once and stay strong forever. You don't grind for a year and stay great forever. This game, this life, it demands consistent hunger. It demands that you renew your fire every day, that you wake up like you're still chasing something, because you are. You're chasing your potential, and that race never ends. So wake up hungry, show up like you've still got something to prove, move like someone's trying to take it from you, because they are. Let the world sleep while you work. Let them rest while you rise. Let them settle while you sharpen. Your hunger, it's the difference between staying relevant and being forgotten. It's the edge that keeps you dangerous. It's the reason your name echoes long after the crowd moves on. So never let it die. Never feed it once and think that's enough. Feed it every day. And let that hunger turn you into something they can't touch. This is it. The final round. The last breath. The moment when everything you've trained for, sacrificed for, competed for, comes full circle. Because competition doesn't just create winners. It creates champions. And champions aren't born on stage. They're born in the shadows. In the hours no one sees. In the fights no one hears. In the moments when quitting was louder than continuing, but you kept going anyway. You don't become a champion by accident. You become one through pressure, through adversity, through relentless pursuit. Every obstacle you overcame, every rival you faced, every time someone told you you can't, that was the training ground. And now you've built something the world can't ignore. Because champions don't need attention. They don't need approval. They don't chase applause. They chase legacy. They chase evolution. They don't rise once. They rise again and again and again, until rising becomes their nature, until competing becomes their oxygen, until the fire inside of them burns so bright, no amount of darkness can drown it. Look at your journey. Look at what you've overcome. That wasn't luck. That wasn't chance. That was discipline. That was fire. That was the hunger refusing to die. And now You become more than just a player in the game. You become a force, a presence, a standard. You built that through competition, through embracing discomfort, through choosing growth when comfort was calling. You didn't run from rivals, you studied them. You didn't fear pressure, you became it. You didn't wait for a clear path, you carved one through chaos. And in doing so, you became unstoppable. That's what champions are. They're not the loudest, they're not always the fastest, but they're the most locked in, the most battle tested, the most dangerous, because they faced the storm and refused to bow. And now, when the world sees the crown, only you know the war it took to earn it. So here you are, not because it was easy, but because you chose to fight, because you chose to compete, because you chose growth over comfort, progress over praise, and legacy over laziness. And this is only the beginning, because champions don't just rise once, they rise every day, they compete every day, they grow every day. And now the world doesn't just see you, they feel you. Because your grind has spoken, your discipline has echoed, your evolution has arrived. You didn't just survive the competition, you became it.